Yeah, the model 5 we are starting today, and it's about Z transforms. There are many transforms, as you all know. In the last semester, okay, if I'm not wrong, we have studied Laplace transform, right? In network theory, we have studied Laplace transform, and we also have seen, or we also will be seeing some more transforms called Fourier transforms. Fine. And we are going to see Z transforms. What for all these transforms are used is the question. Okay. They're used to convert the time domain signal into frequency domain. Okay. Though the Z and Laplace transform, they don't come directly in the form of frequency when we transform it, but indirectly it is frequency domain only. So why we need to be in the frequency domain? Let me explain you that. Okay. The best example is the speech signal. Let's say in time domain, we have speech signal that you're listening to, for example. Okay. We know the audible range of frequencies is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, right? In that voice, if you take the speech, human voice, okay, so it would be, maybe it ranges from 20 hertz to maximum 4 kilohertz, right? We can listen to the sound till 20 kilohertz, but as humans we can generate only 4 kilohertz as the maximum frequency. Understand that? In that male voice will have little less frequency, maximum frequency. Say the male voice will have around 3.5 kilohertz male voice, the maximum I'm saying, and female voice will have little more. Okay, so when it is more frequency, the sound is sharp. The sound is sharper. Okay, and male voice, if you take, it is less sharper because comparatively it is less in frequency. Female voice is more sharper to listen, okay, because it is having larger frequency components than the male voice. Okay, so that's why in male voice we say there is a lot of bass. Okay, and in female voice we say there is a lot of treble, treble, mind you, it's not trouble. So these terminologies you might have heard when you have come across the music system. So if you maybe in the car audio system, music system, you can increase the bass, you can increase the treble. If you increase the treble, it will the sound will be sharper. If you increase the bass, okay, the sharpness will decrease. So this is one information that one needs to have. Now this is the information about the frequency. Now male voice will have, let's say, 20 hertz to 3.5 kilohertz, but again male voice, my voice is different, and if you take our HOD's voice, Satyanarayan sir's voice is different, and if you take our Manjunath sir, our principal's voice, that is also different. And though you're not able to see them, if you can listen to them, you'll be able to see, okay, this is Manjunath sir, or this is Satyanarayan sir, or this is Sunil. You'll be able to say that. Why? You already have listened to us for 2 years now, nearly. Okay, so you have fair idea regarding how our voices sound. Okay, so you can easily make it, okay, it is his voice, it is his voice, or it is her voice, right? So who will give that uniqueness to a voice of a person? Okay, so let's see this. That is called as frequency information. So let's say it's 20 hertz to 3.5 kilohertz male voice. Okay, in this range, okay, there will be a frequency which is called as what? Dominant frequency component. Dominant frequency component. Frequency component. So which frequency is dominant? That decides the voice texture or the voice how it sounds. Understand that? Not everybody's voice is same, because the dominant frequency components are different. Okay, so we don't know which which frequency is dominating in my voice or which frequency is dominating in some other's voice. We don't know that. So that is called as frequency information, and that frequency information is not available in time domain. So frequency information is not available in time domain. Okay, so that needs to be made available, means you have to transform your signal from time domain to frequency domain. So if you come to time domain, if you come to frequency domain from time domain, you will understand the frequency information. So if you have to analyze the frequency information of a signal, then you have to come from time domain to frequency domain, and for that you will be applying what? Transforms. You will be applying transforms. For example, you have Laplace transform. Laplace transforms are applicable on signals like x of t, and Z transforms are applicable on signals like x of n. Can you make out the difference here? In the last semester, when you learned Laplace transform was applicable on signals which was represented as x of t, but on x of t, Z of t is not applicable. So that means what is the difference? Laplace transform are meant for continuous time signal. Continuous time signals. Okay, whereas discrete, whereas Z transforms are meant for discrete time signals. Understand? So that means we have so many different formats. We have cosine transform, we have Fourier transforms. In Fourier transform, we have discrete Fourier transforms or continuous time Fourier transforms. Fourier series we have, Laplace transform we have. Okay, there are so many other transform, wavelet transforms we call. Understand? There are so many different transforms, but the purpose is same. Purpose is for signal processing. Okay, we say signal processing. When we say signal processing, the signal processing could be image processing or video processing or speech processing. In every processing of a signal, these transforms would be of help, and on which type of signal you are trying to apply this would depend, would decide which transform you'll go for. If it is discrete time, you'll go for Z transform. If it is continuous time, you'll go for Laplace transform. If it is continuous time periodic, you'll go for Fourier transforms, or if it's discrete time non-periodic, you'll go for something else. So different signals will have different transforms. Okay, so not the same transform is applicable for all the different types of signals. No, every transform is meant to transform a particular type of signal into frequency domain. It is for processing of the signal in frequency domain. So understand, that is why we go for these transforms. And the transform that today we are learning here is Z transform. Understand? Like Laplace transform here, we don't know what Z transform, Z stands for. It's not an abbreviation. But that is interesting. If you're curious enough, you can search for that. If Laplace transform is LT, what is Z here in Z transform? In Laplace transform, L is Laplace. In Z transform, what is Z? You can search for that. Let's see if how many can get answers for it. Fine. So without getting into that part, okay, so let's begin with the Z transforms. Okay, as I have told you, Z transforms are applicable to discrete time signals only. Fine. So now let's see how we define Z transforms in mathematical form. Okay, Z transforms are defined as Z transform is defined as see here, what you're doing is you're applying Z transform on a time domain signal, but that time domain signal is discrete time signal. Understand? And when you apply that Z transform on a discrete time signal, you will get a Z transform represented by Z transform signal represented by X of Z. See here, the X is lowercase, N is also lowercase. So this is the signal, discrete time signal. So when it is transformed into Z domain, okay, even Z has got, Z means it is some form of frequency. Frequency is hidden within it. Understand that? But we're not getting into it. Okay, makes the discussion too large, too depth, but we don't want that to happen. Fine. So this is frequency domain signal. Now in frequency domain signal, see, the X is also capital, Z is also capital. The notations are very important. You cannot write the frequency or Z domain signal as this. No. There is a rule we need to follow, because when you apply a transform, everybody would be seeing it. Okay, this is means this is the Z transform. Means it is the Z transform applied on the discrete time signal X of n, and it is defined as, since it is discrete time signal, again we'll be dealing with the summations. Okay, summation n running from minus infinity to plus infinity, X of n Z to the power minus n. Everybody understand this point? X of Z is defined as summation n running from minus infinity to plus infinity, X of n Z to the power minus n. See here, since this is going from minus infinity to plus infinity, it is covering both left-sided as well as right-sided sequence. Understand that? So in that sense, this is bilateral transform. Why it is called as bilateral? It is called as bilateral transform because it is covering both positive and negative values of n. Understand that? Now suppose if we are asked to cover, if we are asked to cover what? Just positive side of the values of n, positive values of n, then what happened? That will be called as unilateral. Suppose X of n is, let's say, suppose X of n is causal. Causal means what now? X of n. Suppose X of n is a causal sequence. That means I'll tell you now. That is X of n is not equal to or is equal to 0 for n less than 0. So that means it is right-sided sequence. So if it is this, then X of Z would be given by what? Anybody? So what we'll have in this summation? What we'll have in this summation? So where to where this n will go now for causal sequence? What is a causal sequence? Causal sequence is one which is 0 for n less than 0. So that means here you will have the summation running from only 0 to infinity. Understand? So if the x of n, if this x of n is causal sequence, then it is 0 for n less than 0. That means it is non-zero for 0 to infinity. So that's why it is called as unilateral transform. Okay, so there are two types of transforms. Okay, one is bilateral transform, that is this, which covers both negative and positive values of n, and another one is unilateral Z transform, wherein we are just covering the positive values of n. Understand that? Now there is something very important in this Z transforms which we have not done in Laplace transform. In Laplace transform also we should discuss that, but we were not very particular about it. That is region of convergence. Region of convergence, okay, popularly known as ROC. So every time we discuss Z transform, we just cannot stop discussing about region of convergence. What is region of convergence? ROC is all values of Z for which x of Z is finite, or x of Z they say is converging. You can say it's finite or you can say it's converging. So that means what is region of convergence? Region of convergence is the set of values of Z for which x of Z is finite. That means the values of Z for which these x of Z's are the values of Z for which this x of Z would be finite. Okay, so that is called as region of convergence. What is region of convergence? It's values of Z, different values of Z for which x of Z would be finite. Understand? Now we shall have in detail analysis about region of convergence. If we consider a finite signal, if we consider a left-sided finite sequence, or if we consider a right-sided finite sequence, what would be the region of convergence for that, for such type of signals? Or suppose if we consider infinite length signals, say u of n, then what is the region of convergence for u of n? If we consider again left-sided sequence, say u of minus n, infinite, what would be region of convergence for that? Okay, so we shall discuss that in detail now. Fine. So when we are doing that, we will learn more about this Z transform. So when we see this region of convergence in detail, so you'll be having more information regarding the x of Z, that is Z transform. So let's now take this region of convergence of ROC of finite duration sequences. Finite duration sequences. Mind you, we call them as sequences because they are in discrete time. So discrete time signals can also be called as sequences. So let's not misunderstand it. Fine. Now, the first signal that we shall take under finite sequences is this right-sided sequence is what we are considering now. Right-sided sequence means what? We shall see now. Okay, so which is there from right-sided sequence are there from 0 to right side for finite values. Okay. Now, this right-sided sequence is also called as causal sequence. Why it is called as causal? Because this x of n is actually 0 for n less than 0. So the sequence which is 0 for n less than 0 is called as causal sequence or right-sided sequence. For such a sequence, what would be the region of convergence is what we are interested in now. Okay, so the statement they make is this: for a finite causal sequence, for a finite causal sequence, okay, the ROC is, the region of convergence is entire Z plane, okay, except Z equal to 0. So very important statement as far as the region of convergence is concerned. See, for a causal sequence, okay, for a causal sequence, the region of convergence is entire Z plane except Z equal to 0, they say. Okay, so let's see the proof for this. What do they mean by this? Let's see the proof. Okay, now, so to prove this, we need to consider what? A causal sequence. Fine, that is right-sided sequence. So let's consider this. Consider x of n equal to 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay, it has 4 samples and this is the 0th sample. Understand? So we have considered a right-sided sequence which is ranging from, see here, which is ranging from n equal to 0 to what? So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, which is ranging from 0 to 3. So this is a finite length sequence and it is right-sided. It is finite, see here, finite duration sequences. It is finite as well as it is right-sided sequence because we don't have any negative values of n here. So let's see if we apply Z transform on this, how does it look like? Let's see here, because if we apply Z transform on that, then we will understand what is region of convergence. Otherwise, no. Okay, so let's say apply Z transform on n. So let's apply Z transform on x of n. So that is x of z, right? So x of n would become x of z when we apply Z transform. Okay, and the equation for Z transform is this: n ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, x of n, z to the power minus n, we say. But since this is a causal sequence, this x of z is ranging from 0 to 3. Okay, so let's take that. So it's ranging from 0 to 3. Okay, and let's say it is x of n, z to the power minus n. Since there are just 4 samples, let's expand this summation. Let's write this in expanded form. So in expanded form, x of z is actually equal to here. So first we have n is equal to 0 sample. So that is x of 0. So when it is n equal to 0 samples, Z to the power minus n is 1. Here, when n is 0, Z to the power 0 is 1. So it is x of 0 plus, then we have n is equal to 1 sample. So it's x of n into Z to the power minus 1. Okay. Similarly, when n is equal to 2, it's x of 2 Z to the power minus 2. Fine. Plus, then we have x of 3, the last sample, n equal to 3 samples. So this is how the expanded form looks like. Now, let's go to the definition of region of convergence. What is region of convergence? Region of convergence is all values of z for which x of z is finite. Now, can you tell me for which values of z this is finite? Or except which value of z, okay, x of z is finite. Or tell me the value of z for which x of z is infinite. Yeah, let me ask you like that. Tell me the value of z for which x of z is infinite. So leaving that value of z, all other values of z would form the region of convergence. So can you tell me for which values of z the x of z would be infinite? See this equation and tell. When do you think x of z can be infinite? Just observe values of z which would make x of z infinite. Nobody wants to respond to that?
When n is equal to infinity.
No, I'm not asking about n. I'm asking about z, for which there is no n to be seen at all. Here, there is no n here. You mean to say this when x of n becomes x of infinity is what you mean?
Yes, sir. Yes.
No, that will never happen because this is finite length signal. That is what I'm telling you. Finite duration signal. So n can never go to infinity. That's why here the signal that we have taken is just from 0 to 3. So no, you cannot think of going to infinity. Ruled out. That is not possible. When x of z can be infinite, or for which values of z could be infinite?
When z is equal to 0.
Very good. When z is equal to 0. See here, we have z inverse. Z inverse means what? It is 1 by z. So z would come in the denominator. So it is z to the power minus 2 means it is 1 by z square. So all these z's are in the denominator, mind you. All z's or positive powers of z are in the denominator. And when denominator goes 0, okay, x of z would be infinite. Understand that? So in other words, let me just show you this. So this is as good as saying this. See here? So this is x of z, right? This is x of 1 into 1 by z plus x of 2 into 1 by z square plus x of 3 into 1 by z cube. So this is how this x of z is. Everybody understand that? So that means when this z becomes 0, when this z is 0, okay, x of z is infinite. Understand that? What is region of convergence? Region of convergence is the values of z for which x of z is what? Finite. Understand that? See here. Values of z for which x of z is finite. So that means except z equal to 0, all other values of z would form the region of convergence. So since for z equal to 0, x of z is infinity, okay, except z equal to 0, all other values of z form the region of convergence. So that is what is being told here. See here? What is that they have told? For finite causal sequence, region of convergence is entire z plane except z equal to 0. So that is entire z plane means, so except z equal to 0, for all other values of z, okay, region of convergence would be there. That means all other values of z would form the region of convergence except z equal to 0. Why? Because at z equal to 0, x of z would become infinity. So leaving that apart, rest all will form the region of convergence. That's why they say for what? Finite causal sequence, the region of convergence is what? The region of convergence is entire z plane, okay, except z equal to 0. But because at z equal to 0, x of z is infinity. So leaving that, rest all the z would make x of z finite. So that's why it's entire z plane except z equal to 0. I hope you understand this. Okay, so therefore we should make the statement. Therefore, ROC of a causal sequence. Causal sequence. What is causal sequence? You should understand. It is x of n 0 for n less than 0. ROC of a causal sequence is entire z plane. Z plane means all the values of z except z equal to 0. Fine. So this is the first signal that we have taken. So let's take a left-sided sequence. Understand that? So let's take a left-sided sequence now. Second sequence is left-sided sequence. So left-sided sequence is non-causal sequence. Fine. What is left-sided sequence? X of n is 0 for n greater than 0. Understand that? X of n is 0 for n greater than 0. See here? Now, here earlier we said x of n is 0 for n less than 0. See, this is n equal to 0. For n less than 0, it's all zeros. Okay. Now, this says x of n is 0 for n greater than 0. So it is left-sided sequence. And what is region of convergence for a left-sided sequence? They say is this. ROC for a left-sided sequence is entire z plane except z equal to infinity. So that means except z equal to infinity, okay, all other values of z would form region of convergence. Let's see how it is true. Okay, for that we need to consider a left-sided sequence. So consider x of n equal to 1, 2, 1. Now, which is the 0th sample here? Can you make out for left-sided sequence? Anybody? Which is the 0th sample here? For right-sided sequence, 0th sample is this, the first sample. For left-sided sequence, what do you think is the 0th sample among the three?
Last sample.
Last sample is 0th sample. Very good. So this is the last sample. So this is 0th sample. For n greater than 0, see here. For n greater than 0, x of n is 0. So such a sample is called as left-sided sequence. Such a sequence is called as left-sided sequence. Now for such a left-sided sequence, the ROC is the entire z plane except z equal to infinity, they are saying. So let's go with x of z now, because without x of z we cannot analyze. Okay, so summation n ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, x of n z to the power minus n is what is the standard equation. Since this is finite sequence, okay, so let's say it goes from where to where? -2 to 0. Yes, it goes from -2 to 0. Right. Now it is x of n z to the power minus n. Since there are just 3 samples, again let's expand. Therefore, in expanded form, x of z would look like this. What is that? X of -2 is the first sample. Okay, to the power z to the power minus of -2, mind you, because n is -2 there. Summation, since it is summation, it is plus, we have to put. Okay, then we have x of -1, n equal to -1 sample, so it is z to the power minus of -1. Then we have 0th sample, okay, that is x of 0 into z to the power 0. So this implies that x of z is x of -2 z square plus x of -1 into z plus x of 0. Now seeing this, you should be able to tell me the region of convergence. Region of convergence means all those values of z for which x of z is finite. So that means, let's see for which values of z this x of z would be infinite. Can you tell me for which values of z this x of z is infinite now? For which values of z it is x of z is infinite? Yeah. Can anybody respond to that? So this x of z would be infinite when z is, since let me write that, since x of z is infinite when z is equal to infinity. Okay, the region of convergence is entire z plane except z equal to infinity. That means entire z planes means it's all other values of z except z equal to infinity, because for all other values of z, x of z would be finite. Okay, and so all those values will form ROC except z equal to infinity, because for that x of z is infinite. Understand? This is what is region of convergence for what? Left-sided sequence. Now suppose we have what? Two-sided sequence or double-sided sequence. Understand? So it is quite obvious. Okay, the double-sided sequence is the combination of left-sided as well as right-sided sequence. Understand? So both the conditions we need to consider now. Double-sided sequence means what? Combination of both left and right-sided sequences. Okay, so therefore region of convergence is, region of convergence of double-sided sequence is entire z plane except, anybody, except which values of z would form a region of convergence for double-sided sequence, because double-sided sequence is the combination of both left and right-sided sequences. Anybody? Except z equal to 0 and z equal to infinity. Understand it? So except these two values, all other values will form the region of convergence. Because here, if we consider, for example, if we consider an x of n, let's say, which has got these sequences 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and this is our 0th sequence. So it is double-sided because we have a left-sided also and right-sided also. Understand? So x of z for this would look like what? So x of z for this would look like summation n ranging from -1 to 0, 1, 2. Yeah. X of n z to the power minus n. This can be given as what? X of -1 into z plus x of 0 plus x of 1 into z to the power -1 plus x of 2 into z to the power -2. So that means here these z's are in the denominator. So if they are zeros, if these z's are zeros, then also this x of z is infinity. Or if this z is 0, or if this z is infinity, then also this x of z is infinity. Let me write that. It's whatever we have done, I'm just trying to summarize that. If this z is infinity, or if these two z's are 0, okay, x of z would be what? Infinity. Fine. If this z is infinity, or if these two z's are zeros, then x of z would be infinity. So except this infinity and 0, except z equal to infinity and 0, okay, the entire other plane would form the region of convergence. Okay, so let's say that here, since x of z is equal to infinity for z equal to 0 and z equal to infinity, what we can say, ROC is ROC for double-sided sequence is entire z plane except z equal to 0 and z equal to infinity. Understand? So this is regarding the finite sequences. Now we shall try analyze the same for infinite sequences. Everybody understand? So we have seen the region of convergence for finite sequences, and the three different finite sequences that we had considered was right-sided sequence, which is also called as causal sequence, or left-sided, and rather we have seen right-sided, left-sided, and double-sided. Okay, but all the sequences that we have considered here are finite in duration, mind you. This is important. The first set of sequences that we have seen are finite duration sequences. Understand that? So now we shall see the region of convergence for infinite duration or infinite length sequences. Okay, now take the heading as region of convergence for infinite length sequences. Second set of problems. Okay, region of convergence. So let's not write convergence, ROC is there already. Yeah, region of convergence for or of infinite length sequences. So in finite we were saying entire z plane except z equal to 0, or entire z plane except z equal to infinity, or entire z plane except z equal to 0 and z equal to infinity, we used to say. Right? Now, how would that statement change when infinite length sequences are considered? Okay, we shall see now. Fine. So for that, we shall directly take the problems and analyze. The first, not the problems, rather, it's the first signal. Okay, and the first signal is positive time exponential. So this is a standard signal in Z transform. What is that standard signal? Positive time exponential is what we are seeing. Okay, so the positive time exponential is x of n, okay, a power n u of n. Since they are talking about positive time exponentials, a power n ranging from 0 to infinity. Understand? So that is what is called as positive time exponential. Fine. Now, what would be the region of convergence for this particular signal is what we are interested in. Is that okay with you? So what we should do to see region of convergence, again, let's consider x of z. What is x of z? X of z is summation n ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity x of n z to the power minus n. Fine. Now, let's bring in this particular signal inside this summation. Okay, so in place of x of n, let's have a power n u of n, okay, into z to the power minus n. So this is how it looks like after we substitute x of n there. Now, how can we change this summation? Looking into u of n, you should tell me. U of n is 1 from where to where? Respond.
0 to infinity.
U of n is 1 from 0 to infinity. So that means if you move from 0 to infinity here, u of n can be replaced by 1. Okay, since u of n is equal to 0 for n equal to 0 to infinity, x of z would now look like summation n ranging from 0 to infinity a power n z to the power minus n, z to the power minus n has been missing here. Is this okay with you now, everybody? So how can I rearrange this term so that I'll have a standard summation like this? What is the standard summation here, everybody? N equal to 0 to infinity a power n is the standard summation. What is this? What is the summation equal to? Anybody? Can you give me the summation? Anybody? Summation n ranging from 0 to infinity a power n, where a is less than 1. Yeah, let me say that a is less than 1. What is the summation equal to? It is 1 by 1 minus a, provided a is less than 1. So this is the standard summation. So I need to bring this in that particular form. So a to the power n form I need to bring this. How can I bring this into a to the power n form? Anybody? I need to the power n. So how can I do that? I can do that by having a into z inverse. Okay, then we have the common power n. Is this okay with you? And this az inverse is less than 1. Okay, I'm telling you az inverse is less than 1. Understand? So since az inverse is less than 1, I can say this. For that we should write, we know that summation n ranging from 0 to infinity, let's say alpha power n, okay, is equal to 1 by 1 minus alpha if alpha is less than 1. Therefore, I can write my x of z equal to what? Anybody? What is x of z equal to now? It is 1 by 1 minus a z inverse. This is our x of z. Get this point now? So, seeing this, can you tell me when would x of z be a finite value? When would x of z be a finite value? You need to tell me. X of z would be infinite if this denominator is 0. When can denominator be 0? When az inverse is equal to 1, the denominator is 0 because it would become 1 minus 1. Understand that? So this would be finite when this denominator is non-zero. Understand that? When this denominator is non-zero, then we can say this x of z is finite. So when we say this is non-zero, that means it should be greater than, the magnitude should be greater than 0. Understand that point? Okay, so therefore we can say x of z is finite. Seeing this, let this be our first equation. X of z in equation 1 would be finite if magnitude of 1 minus a z inverse is greater than 0. If it is greater than or less than 0, you say. When I put magnitude, it means to say that it is positive value. The magnitude is positive. That's why we say it is greater than 0. So when the magnitude of the denominator is greater than 0, okay, x of z is finite, is what is the meaning of it. X of z is infinite when this denominator is 0. So without letting that happen, okay, I'm making it greater than 0. The denominator, the magnitude of denominator greater than 0. So that means it is not 0 is the meaning. Okay, which means that it is 1 is greater than, okay, magnitude of az inverse. So it further implies that 1 is greater than, okay, magnitude a divided by magnitude z, because it's z inverse, right? Z inverse would be 1 by z. So therefore what do we say? Therefore region of convergence, okay, is all the values of z which is greater than a. A is some number. A is some number. All the values of z which is greater than a. So therefore one implies that x of z, let's put that in proper form now. 1 by 1 minus a by z. Okay, so how can I write this? Therefore x of z is z by z minus a with region of convergence z greater than a. Understand this point, everybody? Yes. So this is your x of z of the positive time exponential. Okay, and region of convergence of positive time exponential is this, magnitude z greater than magnitude a. That means all the values. Fine. So let us draw that now. Suppose I was talking about z plane, right? Okay, this is what is z plane. So the vertical axis is imaginary values of z, and the horizontal axis is real values of z. Fine. Now, what are they telling us? So this is 0. This is z equal to 0. And let's say this is z equal to a. So that means in this radius, let me see if I get a circle there. Yeah, I have a circle. Let me see if I can draw that circle properly. No. I should draw a circle with a as the radius now. Is that possible? Yeah, this is good enough. No. Yeah. This is how we need to draw the region of convergence, and see all these values on circle. This circle we have drawn, right, with radius a. So the radius of this circle would be a wherever you measure it. You understand that? Wherever you measure it, the radius would be a. Understand? So that is what is the meaning of magnitude a. All the values of a. Z greater than all the values of a. That means outside this circle, whatever z comes, they are all the values of z which will form the region of convergence. Understand? So we can say region of convergence for a right-sided sequence, or let's say what is the sequence that we have taken? Positive exponential. See, this is the signal we have taken. X of n equal to a power n u of n, where a is less than 1. This also we should have written that. For such a positive time exponential, z transform is z by z minus a, and the region of convergence is, okay, magnitude z greater than magnitude a, which means that all the values of a. All the values of a means what? You draw a circle of radius a. So that is where you will find all the values of a. Understand? So within that circle is not region of convergence. Outside that circle is all region of convergence. Okay. So we can say that, see here, therefore, for positive time exponential, that is x of n equal to a power n u of n, okay, x of z is what? Z by z minus a, and region of convergence is outside the circle with radius a. That is region of convergence is outside the circle with radius a, is the meaning of this. So if it is positive time exponential, it is outside the circle with radius a. That is what is the meaning of this region of convergence. And we find the region of convergence soon after we solve this summation, standard summation. Soon after this, we get this right. So here we need to analyze the region of convergence, not after we obtain it in the final form. No, it makes sense. This is the final form. Okay, with this we'll write what is region of convergence. So before we write this form of x of z, okay, we should have region of convergence with us. So you will analyze region of convergence with equation 1 in consideration, not with this equation, z by z minus a. Is that okay with you, everybody? Fine. So let's take another signal now. So this sequence is positive time exponential, okay, and this is infinite length, 0 to infinity. Now we shall consider the negative time exponential. Understand? And it's a standard form. What is that negative time exponential? Let's see now. Everybody just take down this. So the signal that we are seeing now is negative time exponential. Fine. So now this negative time exponential is given by what? Everybody just see here. This is given as x of n equal to, since it is negative time, they are saying it's minus is there. Okay. Minus a power n, we should write. And for all values of all negative values of n means it is u of minus n minus 1. This is what is negative time exponential. This minus is there, mind you. This minus needs to be considered. Then it is a power n into u of minus n minus 1. It means that the range is where? Range is n equal to minus infinity to minus 1. 0 is not involved, mind you. If 0 is involved, they would have just said u of minus n. But what is u of minus n minus 1? U of minus n minus 1 is shifting u of minus n to the left by 1 unit. See, this is your u of minus n, mind you. This is u of minus n, which goes from minus infinity to 0. So this is u of minus n. What is u of minus n minus 1? What is u of minus n minus 1? It is shifting u of minus n to the left by 1 position. Okay, so it is minus infinity to minus 1, not 0. Understand that? So therefore, the range of the signal is from minus infinity to minus 1. Everybody get that point? Okay, so for such a signal, what would be the region of convergence is the question. So if you have to make an analysis of region of convergence, very first that we need to do is having x of z for this particular signal. Understand that? So what is x of z? Let's see now. So what is x of z given by? The z transform of x of n is given by summation n ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity x of n into z to the power minus n. So let's substitute x of n in this. Okay, so how would it look like? It would be minus into a power n u of minus n minus 1 into z to the power minus n. Okay, so let's again make this statement. Since u of minus n minus 1 is equal to 1 for n equal to minus infinity to minus 1, okay, x of z would look like, see, summation n ranging from minus infinity to minus 1, okay, minus a power n, okay, u of minus n minus 1 would become 1 in that duration, okay, and into z to the power minus n. So this is how the things look like now. Again, we need to bring this into the standard form. Understand? But in standard form, you never have this minus. So to eliminate that minus, okay, what we can do? What we can do to eliminate that minus sign there? Anybody?
Squaring.
No, we cannot square here. That is one way, but we don't square because squaring will not give you the standard form, because we never have seen a standard form wherein we take n square, right? So squaring is not a solution. What else? Substituting n equal to minus n. If we substitute n equal to minus n, x of z would look like this. N equal to 1 to infinity will do, because whether it is infinity to 1 or 1 to infinity, it's all same. Then this minus we shall take out. Okay, then it would be a power minus n, because n would become minus n. So if n becomes minus n would become n. Is it okay with you? Is this understood? I have substituted n as minus n and have interchanged the limits of summation. That will not have any problem. Substitute n equal to minus n and interchange minus 1 and minus infinity. That's it. So this is how it is going to look like. Now further what we can do with this. So this will be minus, let's keep outside. It's n equal to 1 to infinity a inverse into z to the power n. So this is how it is going to look like. Fine. So we know a standard equation if it is starting from n equal to non-zero. Okay. So we know that summation, let's say n ranging from n naught to infinity, let's say alpha to the power n. Okay. What is this? Anybody? What is this equal to? The standard summation. It is equal to alpha to the power n naught divided by 1 minus alpha when alpha is less than 1. Is this okay with you, everybody? So therefore I can write my x of z equal to, let that minus be there outside. Okay, we can write this as a inverse into z to the power 1, because n naught is 1 there, divided by 1 minus a inverse z. So this is how it is going to look like. Fine. Here itself, let's make an analysis of region of convergence. Okay. So the region of convergence here is, okay, 1 minus a inverse z. So the magnitude of this should be greater than 0. That means the denominator should not be 0. If denominator is 0, then x of z is infinity. That means when denominator is non-zero, okay, x of z is finite. So the meaning of saying that is this magnitude of the denominator is greater than 0. It is non-zero is the meaning of that. If it is negative, we'll take the positive. That is why we have taken the magnitude of it. Whether it is negative or positive is another meaning of it. Fine. So how does it look like? It would be 1 greater than a inverse z magnitude. So it is 1 greater than z divided by a. Or we can say z is greater than, or what? Z is less than magnitude a. Fine. So let's call this as equation number 1. Okay. So therefore equation 1 implies that x of z is equal to minus, let's keep as it is. Fine. So it would be z by a in the numerator, and in the denominator it would be 1 minus z by a. So this would be what? Minus of, okay, z by a divided by a minus z by a. LCM, it's just taking LCM. Okay, now what happens? This will go off. So you're left with minus z by a minus z. Okay, so therefore x of z is equal to z by z minus a. Okay, where region of convergence is z less than a. So that means what? That means what here? So here a can even be taken as b. Okay, if you don't want to take this a, we can take that as b also, just to differentiate between the negative and positive exponentials. Therefore, how to draw the region of convergence? How to draw the region of convergence? See here, this is imaginary z. Fine. Then we have real z. So we deal with real values of z here. So that's why, again, let's draw a circle with a as the what? Radius. So we have drawn the circle with a as the radius. Okay, so every point on this circle is a. Everybody understand? So every point on this circle is a. Fine. So that means within this value, so that means within this circle is your ROC. So this is our ROC. Get that point? So this is the meaning of the Z transform you have obtained. Okay, so we will have to consider this as the final output or final result, where region of convergence is within the circle. Okay, so therefore ROC for negative time exponential, ROC for negative time exponential, that is x of n equal to minus a power n u of minus n minus 1 is within the circle of radius a. So for positive times or exponential, it is outside the circle of radius a. Okay, and for negative time exponential, it is within the circle of radius a, and all the points on this circle are a's. Understand that? So this is the meaning of it. Yeah, this is the meaning of this region of convergence. And again, I'm telling you, when we analyze the region of convergence, we have to analyze the region of convergence at this equation, keeping this equation in mind. Okay, then we reduce this equation to the standard form. Is that okay with you, everybody? Yes. So one more thing I'll tell you. See, when x of n is this and ROC. See here, everybody, just observe this. This is nice. So when you have x of n as the first signal, you had x of n as a power n u of n. Okay, so here the x of z was what? X of z and region of convergence. X of z is z by z minus a, but region of convergence is outside the circle with radius a. Okay, second one is minus a power n u of minus n minus 1. Okay, so here x of z is same, z by z minus a, but region of convergence is inside the circle with radius a. Everybody understand that? So this needs to be understood properly.